The Halo universe is filled with wonder, mystery, and fascinating discoveries around every corner. With so much to explore, four friends decided it was about time that they boot up their consoles and discuss this universe that has grabbed their attention since childhood. JumperScape Audio kindly welcomes you to join them in the library.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Library, the show where we talk about Halo lore and it's not the least bit comprehensible or professional, but hey, we try our best. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Mr. GeneralKidd on YouTube. How are you doing today, good sir?
I am doing great. How about everyone else?
We're doing. we're just last week we had just finished talking to Installation 00 about the Halo TV show. That was unfortunate. He's a very chill guy.
Very chill guy.
He made that conversation so bearable.
Yeah, no, I felt so unbelievably ignorant, more than I usually do about deep lore and stuff like that.
Usually do.
In regards to at least Halo lore, like I know a thing or two, but like compared to him, I literally just like left the womb compared to what he knows. It's absolutely unreal. And like if he had an opinion, like he could back it up in every way, shape, or form. Just a overall really chill guy.
Off the air, we were talking actually a little bit, and he ended up giving us like this whole breakdown as to what his plans are for what the Mjolnir project he's working on should eventually include. I was honored to hear about all of that, and I'm really looking forward to see what he does. But for now, we have to talk about the stuff that's actually somewhat exciting, because this stuff is actually good. So since we're talking about good side of Halo, figure might as well talk about, quite honestly, if I may be so straightforward, I'm willing to bet, Heed, that you are actually a big part of a lot of Halo fans' like youth in the community.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I mean, you're at least part. I can tell you at least. One of our co-hosts here that's not here today, James, who unfortunately couldn't make it. He does this thing called work. I don't really know what that's about, but we don't really worry about it.
Lame.
So he and I, both of us, when we were young, back when it was like, Halo Reach hadn't even come out or anything like that, both of us would watch your channel. So like both of us were already knowledgeable about you way back in those times when 240p was the talk of the town, and you were covering glitches and Easter eggs.
240p being the talk of the town. That's a mental flashbang. Oh my god.
So what I want to know, though, is before we get things all kicked off and all that, do you think you could just give us a little bit of a rundown on how you got into Halo and how you started this whole channel and how it's gotten to where it is now?
Well, I guess getting into Halo, it's got like a lot of people actually. Like I never heard of it before, but then this one day I went to a friend's house, and like their dad was actually playing Halo, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. What is that? And it was like Halo Combat Evolved, and then I kept watching, like cool, and I got to try a little bit, and I thought it was really great. But at the time, I didn't have an Xbox yet at the time,
Sure.
And in fact, Halo's one of those games at the time I thought it looked pretty cool, but since I don't have an Xbox, it's like not really like it's not really realistic for me to get that game anyways. Because at the time, I was like all in on Nintendo platforms. Like I love playing Legend of Zelda, Super Smash Brothers, all that.
Not a bad choice.
You're making me all teary-eyed. Like your story is almost identical to mine, except I was like, I had like same deal. I grew up like, if anything, I thought I'd be like a PlayStation guy, because I grew up playing like Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, like the classic PlayStation exclusives. And I went over to my friend's house, and it wasn't Combat Evolved. He was playing Halo 3, like a few weeks after its launch. He was playing split screen with his dad, and like I was just completely mind blown. Like I've never played anything like it. Like I played the older COD games too, and they were like really, really linear back in the day. So like the scaling for Halo 3, the graphics and like just the character and the stories, like I didn't have anything like that. And that just I sat there and played it with him for a few hours, and like immediately I'm like, yeah, I want an Xbox so I can play Halo.
Well, I mean, I would have liked to have an Xbox, but I was obviously like limited by like what I was allowed to have. My parents.
No, I understand. I get it.
But like, so yeah, I was pretty much determined to like just stick with Nintendo at that point. So this one like Christmas, I wanted I wanted the GameCube for Christmas. But then my parents are like so bad with like technology, like they like stereotypically don't know anything about like technology, so they actually like confused like a GameCube for an Xbox because like a box and a cube are the same shape.
Man.
So I ended up with the Xbox even though I wanted the GameCube, so slightly disappointed. But at that point I remember I was like, oh wait, I remember my friend's dad was playing Halo. I guess I'll get that game. It was meant to be. Might as well. And yeah, ever since I got that, it just it just went from there. And then I loved it so much. Got Halo 2, and then my friends and we played a lot split screen and stuff like that. And then finally Halo 3 came out, and that's when I really got like into Xbox Live and all of that. And like shortly after Halo 3, I was one day I was playing like Big Team Battle on Sandtrap, and it was a really laggy game. And like I was driving the elephant, and then it just glitched, and like the elephant just like flew up in the air and flipped over. And I thought that was like such a cool thing. And then like you remember like the Easter egg of the elephant, like when it flips.
Wait, what?
How did you do that? Wait, what? How did you do that?
So I saw that too after it flipped, and I was like, oh my god, it's like the coolest thing ever. And, luckily Halo 3 had theater mode, so I went back to theater mode, and like I took my parents' like video camera, so I filmed the TV screen. And that's how my very first video came to be.
Oh
that is
man,
amazing.
I remember
such
actually
like a relatable story.
I basically went back myself. I went back and watched that probably like a couple. I think it was actually the weekend before I went to go hang out in Seattle with you. I went and found that video because I was like, okay, I've seen all these different videos from this guy. I've never once seen his first one though. And it was hilarious to see. It was like, oh, this is like the classic, record the TV screen starting point that we see a lot of YouTubers have. So that part is really cool. So it started technically with an Easter egg then, which is really cool, really funny considering how the fun that you can have with Halo and its sort of stupidity in a way with its physics and its glitches and its Easter eggs. That had already established the ground layer, I guess you could say, for your channel. So when did you like really buy into it though? Because it was for a while you were doing just like these funny little moments or
just random things that happened, and that's it.
Yeah. So when did that really start to establish as I want this to be the sort of thing that I'm known for?
Honestly, like it was probably like a decade before like I really like got like super into it. Like for the longest time it literally was just like me, maybe a few friends who would get together to play Halo, and then like weird things happen in the game, or sometimes like I would even have like an idea of like, hey, I think if we do this that might happen. Let's all get together and try it out and see what happens. And then something does happen, and then I would just make a video of it because I think it's like cool, and it was really fun to do it as well. So I mean, honestly, like a lot of it was just like never like quite planned out. It was kind of just like spur of the moment, like, oh hey, like this happened, let's put it on YouTube, kind of thing.
I mean, that's the best place for content to come from though, because like if I'm thinking back to my youth, back when I was just a wee lad,
back in my day,
exactly, back in my day, back with, let's say, the Halo 3 I Love the Whole World video. Or in my opinion, probably one of the most entertaining out of the entirety of like the OG content, the showcase of the half-infected brutes. Those kind of things, like if you look back at them, it's like, first of all, view counts definitely show that those things were the kind of stuff that a lot of these younger audiences love to see. But like, it's wild because I go back and for the most part, I could talk to pretty much anyone who has watched OG content whenever they were just kids watching content about Halo Reach's glitches and all that. And it's usually eventually someone will bring up this one video that they watched and they're like, yeah, it's from this like GeneralKidd guy or something. It's like, and it's like the showcases that you did, I mean, it gave a whole new appreciation for how Halo was built, because now people were starting to care a whole lot more about what their game was made out of. But these days, you're not so much as interested in what's currently existent in the game and showing that stuff off. You're more interested in trying to take what's already there and bending it to your will. So how's that been going?
Yeah, I mean, that is just like where me and my friends, we get together and we're like, what can we do to like ruin Halo even more?
Ruin even more.
We're just thinking like the most cursed mods possible that we could possibly make, and it's just like it's such a fun session to come up with. Like, oh, like what if we? Well, there's like one thing that we did. Like we started at Seattle, and it's like still in the works now. But like remember the whole 3D scanning thing?
Yeah, that was hilarious. Am I able to talk about that? Is that okay?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people probably saw us scanning.
Yeah, it's true. It was fun. Okay, so picture this: a posse of dudes are walking around, pulling aside YouTubers like Hidden Xperia and Ubernick and Actman, and asking them, "Hey, guys! Listen, we're working on a mod. Can you T-pose for us real quick?"
Oh, hell no.
Because what was being worked on was this really fun mod of putting YouTubers in. Was it Halo 3 that you're working on?
Halo Reach.
Halo Reach. Okay, so taking 3D models of YouTubers and having like a YouTuber Slayer, with like this end goal being that the YouTubers would get to play as themselves. And it was hilarious, first of all, because like walking up, it was mostly like the immediate responses were always hilarious because their face was of genuine confusion, and then once they realize what it is, they're like, oh yeah, and then they immediately hit the T-pose.
That's beautiful.
I think Xperia had some of the most excitement behind it, although he also had the best poker face, so it was really hard to, like, when he hit the T-pose and had to maintain a straight face, it was really hard to tell that he was actually excited.
He was also the most difficult to scan for some reason. I remember I had to like scan him like 5 times.
It was really funny to watch you orbit around him. Yeah, it was really great.
He was too powerful.
It's impossible to capture the essence of Hidden Xperia. And clearly it's working out though, because I mean today, even on the day that we're recording this, you both me and Bryant, Michael Solo over here, we're both laughing about this. The British Mongoose upload. That was.
So we just watched it before you hopped in here.
It was like. That definitely gives off the vibe of me and my friends thought this was hilarious. I wonder if everyone else will too.
That was pretty great.
And it was. I mean, first of all, it's kind of hilarious when when you got somebody in that driver's where the driver's seat should be, because it looks like it kind of looks like the dude is just pushing a wheelbarrow with a guy in it.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of hilarious. Although I think one of the better ones that you've done recently for I guess you could just call them just fuckery mods, really. Because there are these mods that exist that are like, you know, how to enhance Halo revamped, Ruby's rebalanced, you know, all these really fun, you know, make the game great. But then there's the other side of the coin that's like cursed Halo and Halo Rat boss, Halo 3 Rat, which like that,
oh my God,
first of all,
that's
like, that is by far one of the best creations. Once the Legend of Zelda's music kicked in, it sets the mood immediately, because it's for those of you who haven't played the Halo 3 boss battle mod for Halo Reach, oh my gosh, you are missing out on something magical.
No, I guess I'm missing out for the time being. We'll add it to the list, Austin.
That mod is just like a rabbit hole of like of I like random stuff that I could just think of, because like it started off as like I want to do like a little meme video about riding those squirrels around. And then as I was writing, I was like,
without context, this is the most wild conversation I think I've heard in a long time. There's no context to what you just said, and like I had to stop for a minute and like, what the fuck is he talking about? What? Yeah, I just got a PC like 5 months ago, so like I'm really behind on like anything Halo modded related.
I'll catch you up. So the riding of the squirrels was step 1.
Oh yeah, and then after that I was like,
mean?
what if I make myself be able to shoot weapons while riding the squirrel? And I was like, oh, you know what? I can have like joust battles with squirrels, and then it just went from there. I was like, oh wait, what if I fight like a boss with a squirrel? And it just kept spiraling. It started off as like a giant elite, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I was like looking through the game files. I was like, wait, a rat. Oh my god, I can make a rat boss fight, and it just
Where in the world is Halo 3 rat and Halo Reach though? If it's in the files.
Somewhere.
Halo Reach actually has the exact same rat in the files, so that was easy to port over. I don't know where it's used in game, but it's the exact same rat.
Wow. I mean, that's probably why Reach is so good. I mean, the rat's presence clearly improves it by a ton.
And like during that whole like project, I consulted a few of my friends with like very vague and like odd messages. I'm like, hey, do you know if the rats could use armor lock in Halo Reach?
Oh my god,
dude, that mod. I mean, I remember the first time I played it, and I first of all way harder than I was expecting. It's the little baby rats that he releases, the little mini rats. Those ones are hard because you gotta frag them perfectly. You can't really shoot them. I mean, that boss is ridiculous. Is that co-opable by any chance? Can you do that co-op?
It is co-op.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, Shane. Yes, we have something on the list here.
Alrighty.
It's like a Destiny like boss fight or something. Everyone mixed together.
I remember Austin on our cursed Halo playthrough. It's in one of the videos. You threw a D20 or I did, and you said there's an RGB Halo 3 rat over here. I said no, there isn't. I turned around. I'm like, oh my god, there is.
The Halo 3 rat adds to any experience.
Sure does.
I can say recently though, probably some of my favorite stuff that's come out recently, because I think you've been doing a really good job of, first of all, maintaining consistency for anyone who has been watching the channel for this long. I mean, I'm not sure how long it's been since you've looked, but your first video was 15 years ago. So the fact that you've maintained for that long, that's super impressive right off the bat. But the fact that you're still putting out completely original stuff that I haven't seen anybody else do, that's what's really impressive. But mostly that you're able to take these mods and turn them into sort of like in-game engine posts is like the best thing ever, because let's see, I've seen a meme before of what would happen if Romeo actually got offed by that chieftain in the ODST cutscene, but then you actually killed him in the cutscene. And I mean, they're just staring at him and it's completely silent.
Yeah, he's got like a hammer in his face and all.
It's just stuck there. Did you have to move the hammer down, or did you move his body up to make that happen?
Body up.
Okay. Because I was like, these things are not supposed to make contact. They have to be changed in some way. Although probably one of the more popular ones that a lot of people are currently talking about and getting excited about, just as a way to sort of cap off this whole story time. Your campaign with firefight characters is almost there, right? Like you had a live stream recently where you basically were using it as a live beta test.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be released very soon. It's almost done.
Is Dare going to have the spiky overshield?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that in.
Sick. Okay. Oh gosh, for anyone who isn't watching this first of all, you're making a horrible mistake. You need to be going and paying attention to this stuff, because this is the kind of stuff that's like, when it pops up in your feed, it makes the day a little better. But also because this is the sort of stuff that we love to see. We've talked a lot on this show about even 00 last week. He during the after show was talking about how it's almost sad that these days the community is carrying Halo on its back, and 343 is basically doing no stewardship to maintain this sort of thing. So having a consistent channel of any degree is basically a godsend for this community. So that's just some appreciation to you and the rest of Gold Team, which later I'm going to ask some questions about Gold Team, but that's an after show thing. So if you're around for that, I'll save my questions for that. But yeah, just just a quick cap on all that by giving you appreciation and reminding you that this sort of stuff that you're making, it's random, it's nonsensical sometimes, but it's freaking hilarious. It's really fun.
It's what we need in our lives a little bit.
Although there are also gotta give the appreciation to at least the informational stuff, the ones that are like you're still finding out stuff, like the details on the Forerunner ship from the OG main menu. That sort of stuff, that stuff is still fascinating to this day. So yeah, fantastic work all around. I hope that you maintain as long as you feel necessary. I understand that after 15 years, fatigue might be setting in. But
Going strong.
You're doing well.
Worry. I still have quite a list of stuff to do.
Sweet. Did that list expand? I'm sure it did, but like once you revealed that you were going to not focus on Halo so much, you were going to start branching out other stuff. How much larger did that list get in terms of viewability?
Well, honestly, like I started to branch out other games, but like there weren't really any like new huge games at the time, and I don't know. I kind of fell right back into Halo after like a month or two. It's like a hard habit to kick. But I'm really hoping like later this year when there's like a lot of big game releases, there'll be more things I can enjoy and try out and just see where it goes from there. Especially like
Sure.
Starfield. That's like
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And
Yeah.
it's a Bethesda game, so like on PC, I'm sure there'll be a lot of like wacky modding adventures for that too.
Yeah, these are the kind of appreciations we can give. Is that when PC ports are broken, you can be assured that there's going to be something funny to document. Something cool in the modding community, people making things happen. I mean, Brian over here has been modding like crazy. He already understands all of the wacky stuff that you can put into a game. So
There's so much, dude. There's way too much. I'm not actually making mods, so I don't know the pains and frustrations of that, but just installing them, trying to get them all to work, making sure you have the right versions and stuff, and looking like having to troubleshoot the issues I run into. So then I go and look up like, oh, I'm having this issue, and then I see all the work that all the modders are putting in. Like it's insane. It's an insane amount of work, and it's really, really cool.
yeah, so thank you for doing the stuff that very few of us want to do.
Hey there, Halo fans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our friends right after these messages.
But on to the topic for the day, because that eventually has to get covered. But happy to have you here to talk about it. How many of these, I'm going to clarify what I mean later by movies, but how many Halo films have you seen? Have you kept up with all of them up until now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen all of them.
Sick. Okay. So we're going to test that theory, because there are some that technically are a movie, but they are different in an interesting way. So on the timeline of things, though, we obviously have to start off with the canceled Neil Blomkamp movie. Supposedly was supposed to be his first film by himself ever, because Peter Jackson was originally on it.
Yep.
And that was going to be awesome, because I mean, he was just riding the coattails of being Peter Jackson. So when they were like, hey, we should do a Halo film, and he's like, yeah, that sounds great. Everyone's excited. Everyone's hype. But then, money, and that's a big money for Peter Jackson. So no one wanted to pay that money, and that became a bit of a hurdle. So Neil Blomkamp, he was thrown in, but Bungie and Microsoft both didn't quite trust that Neil Blomkamp can make a good movie. I don't know why I say Blomkamp can make a good movie for his first one, because this is a big undertaking, just throwing the franchise at a new director. But he went on to make District 9 with the assets that he had from the Halo movies. So it would have worked, I think, because District 9 is awesome.
I think it would work.
I did not know that. What he had, like he used whatever he had for the Halo film.
Yep.
Like, would have been at least for District. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Learned something new. That's pretty wild.
He
checks out.
He had some interesting ideas. Whether or not they were going to work, no clue.
What did he use that tied into Halo?
Well, pretty much the concepts for how the aliens work. Like pretty much the entire. Like I've heard the story was basically it was changed obviously, but the story of how District 9 works and all of that was somewhat ported from some ideas from the Halo movie, but that was because of all sorts of stuff. Like the props mostly were what were thrown over because they just had to change a couple things and it was its own unique thing.
Gotcha.
The biggest stuff though was not even really a leak. It was just kind of released. Alex Garland is a fantastic writer.
Oh my god!
And he was supposed
to. Movies are great,
right? His original script for the Halo movie, because he was doing the writing for that. That released, and I've read through it, and it basically is just a cinematic version of Combat Evolved, but it's really cool because it's implementing aspects from the book. So it's like what is it? It's about like 128 pages, which if we're gonna translate that to on-screen time, that's about an hour and a half movie or so. And there's all sorts of stuff that happens in the movie that you first of all don't see in the game. You only see it in the novel because there's a novelization version of the game called The Flood. Great novel, by the way. But the movie has characters from the book like Major Silva. Silva is only in the novels usually, but makes an appearance here in the movie. And there's all sorts of random, not really random, but like stuff that you don't expect. Things that happen in the movie are things that are just like, that doesn't happen in the game, so no one really thinks about it, such as addressing the fact that the UNSC actually had like an outpost, a whole base set up on the ring to operate out of. That is addressed and it's showcased. So it would have been really cool probably, but that's really all that we have for it is just that one script, which I'm certain that someone out there in the world is trying to make their own version of it, knowing the Halo community today. But
I mean, there are a few fan projects going on right now. For like
a lot of them. There's there are 3 ODST themed shorts coming out soon. There's November Black. Those guys, they were on this show a lot of weeks ago. And they give us a full rundown. They joined us for the ODST episode, and what they're working on is so beyond what any of us are capable of. Pretty much all that we are here by this point is just glorified journalists covering everything that the Halo community is doing to try to keep their favorite franchise alive, because 343 isn't doing what they need to be doing. So it's wild. The only other piece of detail that I've got relating to that first movie, though, is that there was, just to be clear, I'm referencing mostly information that I've been able to scrounge up from Halopedia and YouTube videos and certain articles. But apparently, at one point, there was a point in time where Guillermo del Toro, a really fantastic director, had pitched a story to Joseph Staten for a film. Joe said no, and at least I think he said no, but it was mostly because of Del Toro. His pitch had included a twin brother for the Master Chief who would turn evil at some point and fight alongside the Flood or become infected by the Flood, and then Chief faces off against his twin at the end. It's a leap, but I mean, at the time of the movie, it would have been fine probably, because that was like 2005. So nothing was established in that time.
Oh yeah.
Back at that time, we thought that Master Chief was the only Spartan left, if you hadn't read the novels anyway. So
gotta call me out like that.
That's just kind of the way it was. I have to.
We've been telling you to read the novels for so long. At this point, it's only your fault.
You have a very special
place. I'm not blaming anyone else. I haven't been blaming anybody else. I know I haven't read the novels. I'm just not much of a reader.
I haven't read them either, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Listen, I appreciate
Shane,
that,
Shane, you both have very special place in this show, because that's basically like 90% of our audience. That's like the whole point. So this works. Plus, this just gives people a good, solid idea of what sort of stuff they're missing out on. So then they just go and do it, and it's great. It's perfect. On the timeline, though, we have some good stuff, really. We can't talk about it this week because it's going to be next week's topic, but Halo Legends was probably the thing that got me into Halo, full stop, really, because Halo Legends was a collection of short films made by various anime studios that were seeking to tell individual stories, all of them canon except for one. And the stories that they told are a mixture of hilarious and awesome.
Which
What's
was the one that
isn't
wasn't canon?
Oh, okay.
Well, if you both must know at the exact same time.
Yes, we both must, actually. Please.
It's Odd One Out, the one about Spartan 1337.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, because, well, first of all, the first dead giveaway is his number is Spartan 1337, of which there were only like 125 or 150 Spartan 2s in the program. So that, first of all, will clarify it. Second of all, I mean, there are children that are fighting at the level of Spartans in that one, and that's, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Not something that I was aware that children could do in the Halo universe. So it's a great short, though. It's one of the best ones, just because it was animated by the same people who did Dragon Ball. So it's really cool. Yeah. There's some really, really good, like, I've looked at the studios. They're really good studios. They made legit stuff. They're really good. But that's the topic for next week. There's a lot of details to go into with that specifically. And I really, really, listen, man, when I saw Star Wars Visions Season 2, I'm like, all right, here we go. This is it. This is the trigger point. Halo Legends Season 2. Let's hit it. It's only been 16 years.
Only.
I could really go for a season 2, guys. But no, for real, whenever I was a kid, I lived near these brothers that were really into Halo, and I was mostly at the time I was mostly just a COD guy. I mostly just watched my brother play because I was trash, but they showed me a collection of shorts called Halo Legends, and I'm like, well, what is this Halo thing? Because I remember seeing my brother play it, and I remember playing it vaguely when I was like 4 years old, but I don't know anything about it. And they're like, stupid, this is Halo. And I'm like, oh, explained everything. And that just sort of downhill spiral. But after Legends, things got a little quiet for a bit, and then it got really loud all of a sudden with Halo Forward Unto Dawn, which A tier. It's beautiful. Are you one of the ones that are you on the side of it's great or on the side that it was a disappointment?
So right and wrong.
I thought it was good.
Okay, so right, he's on the right side.
He is on the right side.
Yeah,
Lives
stand down,
another
Shane.
day.
Jeez.
If only a certain TV show right now would take notes from that.
If you want to hear about our thoughts of the TV show, gosh, we have thoughts. That's last week.
Yeah. I was gonna say we went on that with installation. We went on a little we went down a rabbit hole with that for a little bit, and then
he went down a rabbit hole. I just asked a question. He wanted for 20 minutes.
Man's had to vent, bro. He had to let it out.
He was pent up.
He had a magazine completely locked and loaded. He had to unload the clip. He had to.
Oh my God.
He clearly wanted to just get it off his chest. I'm like, I totally understand. I really do.
He probably really likes. I'm just gonna guess that he really likes Forward Unto Dawn only because it has.
We didn't ask him.
It has writing.
I brought it up. I referenced Forward Unto Dawn in our conversation. He didn't really say much about it, but probably didn't want to get too off topic. But yeah,
no. I mean, Forward Unto Dawn is a great movie, though. I mean, probably because at the time we thought Lasky was going to be Chief's homeboy for the new trilogy, and that just didn't happen.
You'd think.
But
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
quite.
Lasky's story is, I mean, I love
Great.
it. It's fantastic. I mean, I really
a
love
great
that the
character,
first time I see him,
well-written.
he throws up.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you get throwing up from cryo, you little baby.
Oh no.
It's a great film though, followed up by a not so great film, Nightfall.
I mean, I was okay with Nightfall as well, personally. Like, I mean, I it's not as good as Forward Unto Dawn in my opinion, but I still got enjoyment
what
out of
was
it.
the stuff that you like? I want to know because the stuff that I have stuff that I like, of course, in Nightfall. Like I'm always about seeing the ring, and I really love. Gosh, I love him so much I forgot his name, but the Spartan, the guy that was there that offs himself at the end to sacrifice himself. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he's really cool. I like the concept of a Spartan retiring from being a Spartan to have a family. That's great. But what would you see in the movie that really stood out to you?
I just feel like the way they did the hunters was pretty cool, actually.
Oh yeah,
That's what everyone says.
everyone's really liking the
And
hunter worms.
I'm not even like trying to knock your
Such a
opinion, but like
basic
literally,
answer.
yeah, everyone I know, that was one of the first things James said about it too. When I asked him what he thought of it, he brought up the Legolo. He thought it was really cool.
I was mostly out here for the Oni version of the ODST armor. It was actually really attractive. I liked it.
What an odd way to put that.
What armor can be
really
attractive. Designs can be attractive. I use this all the time. It's like when some guy who's a car aficionado is like, man, that car is sexy. It's like, you know what? I vibe with that. I can go with that description. If something is just so eye catching, you're just like, man, that is attractive. That that works. Speaking of attractive, there are some really, really good movies that happened in between these things, though, because Forwarded to Dawn and Nightfall, they're the only 2 live action films that we have going on so far. Please make more. But there was a collection of films that happened in between, actually. Those being the what were they called? They were called the Evolutions. Halo Evolutions was, if I remember correctly, they were produced for primarily Halo Waypoint back when they cared about it. And they were glorious. We're talking about Headhunters. We're talking about Mona Lisa. Those technically counted as their own movies, especially Mona Lisa, that is actually an hour long. Like, I don't know. Okay. I know I keep asking this, but it's because I'm really waiting for someone to tell me yes. Have you watched, and this goes to all 3 of you, have you watched Mona Lisa?
No, I haven't actually.
Gosh freaking dang it. Okay, listen. Oh my gosh. All right, listen. It's a really good movie. Listen. Dead Space, Halo. Do I need to say any more about it?
I mean, you could.
Okay, so Mona Lisa is basically the plot is Oni doing its typical Oni, who cares about anything that we do? No one's going to stop us vibe. It has a ship outside of one of the broken pieces of the ring. What are they using it for? Great question, Timothy. What's happening is Oni is kidnapping, well, not really kidnapping. I guess they're just legally transferring prisoners onto this ship. It's supposed to be a prison ship. They have Covenant prisoners and they have human prisoners on this ship. And they're just pulling flood samples from the pieces of the ring and using it to test on these subjects. Of course, it's not very PG, but neither is the movie. The movie is extremely bloody, and it's really cool.
We did talk about this once before, right? Because I seem to remember a little bit about this.
Like I said, I've brought this up a lot. I'm waiting for you guys to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really want you guys to watch it.
I might someday.
Maybe
It's
someday.
really good. It's really good. Because, first of all, it has one of the coolest elite characters that you can find. Because there's a survivor on this ship, and it's just this elite that is hella warrior style. He's basically this Sangheili who puts aside the fact that he hates humans for the fact that, they're warriors. They're helping him survive. I don't remember if Oni appreciated him escaping. Probably not. But who am I to judge Oni for? You could probably judge Oni to hell and back. It probably wouldn't be enough. But the whole plot is basically this ship takes this pod, like they pick up this pod from floating in space, and the pod opens and it's just literally a bath, like if you were to fill a bathtub with blood. There's a dude in it, and the dude comes to life and is like, don't. And so Oni goes, do. And they went to the Mona Lisa and they send out this squad to go and investigate, and things go south very quickly, and it's a wonderful film. So highly recommend it. The one that a lot more people know about, though, is most certainly Headhunters. I think pretty much everyone knows about Headhunters, right?
No.
What? Wait.
I honestly think,
hold on.
No, hold on. I honestly think I watched this one. Just go ahead and explain the plot.
I know for a fact I showed it to you because I showed it to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm fairly certain I remember this one. I was gonna bring this one up. It was really, really good.
Yeah. So, okay, first of all, shame on you, Heed. I can't believe you. This one's like, it was a hit on Waypoint. I know that much. Currently, all these, by the way, all these things I'm talking about with the Halo Evolutions, they're all currently available on Gamers Little Playground. They have uploads for all of them. Very kind of them. They're always on the ball with this sort of stuff. Headhunters, though, is basically first of all, it describes what the Headhunter program was. These two teams of 2 Spartan 3s that would be sent on suicide missions that were pretty much guaranteed to never have survivors. Sometimes some headhunters would survive, and they would survive long enough even to get transferred out of the headhunter program, but it was not very frequent. And this story is no different. It's about a team of 2 who go out to try to destroy this fuel depot of some kind, but it's a trap from the Silent Shadow. The Silent Shadow had set up this whole
their armor looked so good. Their armor looked so damn good.
Completely bulletproof. It was really cool. But they set this whole trap for them, and the Spartans are flattered, first of all.
Thanks, guys. So thoughtful.
And I mean, it's not really much of a spoiler because I pretty much laid it out for you, but they both die. They do not make it out of that, but neither do the Silent Shadow, as far as I'm aware. So they took them with them, which was great. But the story itself is great. Makes you feel really sorry for the Spartans right off the bat, just because of the way that they made the characters feel like they had known each other for a while.
I was gonna say, to my knowledge, no sentient living being survived that whole.
It was a very large explosion.
Ordeal. Yeah, I was gonna say it was. Yeah, I was gonna say nothing. If I'm remembering it correctly, there was like a nuke that went off, or they blew up what they completed their objective, and just everything got completely wiped out.
Yeah, say what you will about the Spartan 3s and how they're not as good as Spartan 2s. They did what they were supposed to do.
They got it done, they're better than Spartan 4s at least,
Come on, quit giving them shit. Let them be.
These Spartan 2 ripoffs in plastic armor were doing better than the Spartan 4.
Exactly.
It's just because the Spartan 4s are basically just adults that were conscripted into the Spartan program. They're not nearly as disciplined. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna have a funny scene with Palmer going, "Commander Sarah Palmer, I operate all teams aboard Infinity." It's funny scene, hilarious. But honestly, as I've gone back and watched that, I actually appreciate that a little bit more as I've thought about it, because I've been like, okay, hold on. If we're going to look at this from the perspective of a Spartan who has been through some shit, like she was an ODST before, now she's a Spartan, and she obviously...
Chief, like, a fucking unit? Like, what do you mean you thought he'd be taller? How tall is he?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to explain what I mean, like what I see now.
Yeah, let him talk,
like I said,
Shane.
I've seen that scene. Hey, would you shut up? So here's the thing. When she says that, before, I thought that it was like some sort of insult. But these days, I tend to see it how a couple of YouTubers have also talked about this, and it's been kind of nice to see that others are seeing what I'm seeing. But with that line, it's more like you are face to face with the Spartan who took down 3 armies single-handedly and saved the galaxy without seemingly even trying, just powerhousing through the Flood, bulldozing through the Covenant, and he's standing here right in front of you. So based on his reputation, he should be basically like godlike. So her being like, "I thought you'd be taller," is pretty much a comment on his reputation precedes him. And it's made even better by like it at the end of the game, you have that scene where Palmer looks out and sees Chief walking by, and he's a freaking massive giant compared to her.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I love the edit that someone did where it shows the scene of her being like, "I thought you'd be taller," and then it skips to that scene where she's literally like twice her size.
And at no point
that ending cutscene for Halo 4 is beautiful. I don't care what I love it. I love that ending cutscene.
I love hearing the didact just kind of
his narration.
Be the didact. Yeah,
yep, his narration behind it is incredible.
But that's the thing, is the end of that, it wouldn't really make much sense that, Palmer wouldn't believe that Chief was as good as he was, and then at the end of the game, after just, fighting off the didact, she's suddenly like, "Oh my gosh, he's standing so much taller now." It's more like It's, in my opinion, it's like if you were a kid, you looked up to this sports legend, and then you grow up and you're in the sport, but the sports legend comes back for one game only and shows off to the entire world that he's still just as good as he used to be, and you're looking up to him even more. It gives me that sort of vibe. You're just like, holy shit, he's real.
It's him.
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to Hal Palmer. Like, Palmer definitely had a annoying vibe to her sometimes, but at the same time, she was strict and a commander of all the Spartan 4s aboard Infinity. She had to have that vibe to her. She had to be the drill instructor basically for all of them. And then Halo 5, 343 did its over adjusting thing where Palmer basically had no point in being in the story because they just removed her entirely, basically. And then, speaking of removed her entirely, Halo Infinite. Gosh. Okay, Heed, I know that you're not a lore YouTuber by a definition, or a guy who gives like full campaign rundowns. So like, this is the sort of stuff that I bring guests like you on for. I want to know your opinion. Okay. Is Halo currently where it's at going in a direction that you see as positive?
Oh boy.
Well, it's
you don't gotta sugarcoat it. Let your voice be heard.
Now, I should preface, I am fully aware that you have a certain standing with 343. So if you have to talk about the stuff that you think, it's cool to actually sugarcoat, because this is all about constructive. This is not about tearing down what they've built.
Legally, you can't say exactly what you want to.
No, it's more like, obviously, like, Halo Infinite is, really the entire Halo franchise is not in the best place right now. It's seen much better days, like much better, like a lot much better days. But did I mention it much better?
you might have slipped that in there at some point.
I think you missed that one, actually.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely needs a lot of improvement, and I really hope that, going forward, they can still turn things around, and I mean, someone's got to turn it around eventually. So that's all I can say. But for now, I mean, with Infinite, it's been getting better since season 3. I've definitely started playing it more since season 3, and I'm looking forward to like Infection for season 4. But
we'll see how that goes, since this episode is going to be released way after season 4. But we'll see where that's at.
Ultimately, though, like, all that stuff is kind of like small things that they're adding, and I just don't feel like we're gonna see like any like major like overhauls or like any.
I entirely agree. Like, Infection, that's something that just simply we shouldn't have had waited almost 2 years for. That should have been there at launch, and that's not the only thing. So I 100% agree. There's nothing that's like really, really like I'm very much excited for. So I definitely agree with you there.
Well, and nevertheless, to the degree that you were able to, big appreciation to whatever it is that you and others like you were able to do to help shape like how things probably changed. I'm going to assume that there were some conversations that they got to loop you guys into that I'm hoping were some of the reasons why Halo Infinite came out way better than it probably would have if it was going in the direction that Halo 5 was going in. But things are at least looking on the up and up, which in a moment after I'm done recapping, because we only have like 3 more to address. 2 of them I haven't even seen. So, but we're gonna come back on this one, because there's something that I really think should be done that would make things a whole lot better for our current situation. But for now, there's 2 more, because Halo Evolutions, the reason why it's called Evolutions, I forgot to touch on that, is because they are stories ripped from a collection of short stories called Halo Evolutions that got turned into movies. So they're really cool, but if you read the novels and then you read well, first of all, it's a process. Apologies. It's a novel, it's a comic, and then it's a movie that they turn into from a motion comic. It's beautiful. It's a great way to do things, because it's a very unique way of telling a story by animating a comic into a movie. But they should have done more, because there's so many evolutions. But there were two more. There was The Return, and there was Midnight in the Heart of Midlothian. Don't know what either of those two are about. Midlothian involves an elite getting interrogated by humanity, it seems, and Return has something to do with the Sangheili as well. So they look good, but this is the thing that I wanted to sort of cap on is last time when we had Installation on, we asked him, what games should be made to make the franchise more fun.
Halo 3 anniversary.
We're hoping, right? Listen, man, the showcase is coming up. I hope I don't eat my own words here, but the showcase is coming up next week, and I'm really hoping that I got invited to a theater event for it. I'm hoping
me too, actually.
Oh, you did? Okay, so it's a fellow FanFest member?
Probably not the same theater as you, but
probably not. No, you're a long while away from me, but the whole showcase is happening, and if that showcase shows me just a single frame of Master Chief wearing his OG Halo 3 armor, and I hear the dum dum, I'm screaming my head off. I'm losing my mind.
I fear you boys may be disappointed, and me as well. But there's nothing wrong with holding on to hope.
Listen, man, it's just at this point it would be confusing because if it's called Halo 3 Anniversary, it would be it would be Halo 3's 15th anniversary. If it were to come out this year, that's a bit off, but no.
A remaster.
Wait, 15th. It'd be 15th anniversary. I had that right.
Just get if you want to do a 15-year anniversary, by all means, go for it. I'm not going to bitch too much about it.
I don't care if it's the 17th. I don't care if it's the 21st.
Yeah, I just want a Halo 3 anniversary.
I just want a remaster, a Halo 3 remaster.
Exactly. I would like to say Halo 2 Anniversary, beyond the incredible cutscenes, which makes it one of my favorites campaigns to play beyond its intrinsic story. Like, just the way that they look and the feel of it makes it so incredible to play.
It absolutely shits on CE anniversary. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Beyond that, for a sort of multiplayer, from a multiplayer standpoint, I love the way that Halo 2 Anniversary plays. It is one of my favorite ones to play. Because Halo 3 is like the staple of Halo multiplayer that the majority of people still play, I would say. If there's a way they could make it feel modern like they did with Halo 2 Anniversary, but still keep the same mechanics, basically, that make people enjoy Halo 3 so much, I think that would be an insane boost for Halo. Like, I know
it could potentially happen.
Halo 3 Anniversary all this time. I'm just saying, like, that in and of itself would bring so many people back and keep it going for even longer.
Oh, like a complete, just fresh coat of paint for Halo 3 multiplayer. Yeah, no, all the maps, all the game modes, all the weapons,
it's like free goodwill, really, with the community.
We deserve it. We really do deserve it.
It's it really would be just it's just wild to me because when I've been thinking about where Halo is at the moment, I think I know why it's been so jarring, and it's mostly because Halo Infinite broke the cycle, first of all, because we used to get Halo games every 2 to 3 years, which was great. By now we would have a trailer for the next game. But Infinite broke the cycle. And because of what we had been used to, even if Halo 5 was trash, its multiplayer was really well refined, and it's Forge, it's custom games. It was in
enjoyable.
Those terms. It was fun. I hosted game nights on Halo 5 because Halo 5's custom games were hilarious. I still remember Wipeout being one of the most fun ones we did.
Halo 5 customs carried hard.
And the campaign, if you skipped all the cutscenes and played it on easy, it's a great campaign. But I still went and played it on Legendary 3 times. But that's neither here nor there.
It was terrible,
dude. It's just a game. It's not fun. I have a clip still where I got trapped in this little small area that got surrounded by knights, and it was basically just me and the rest of my team reviving each other. I was just playing with AI, and it was just a reviving session. We couldn't kill them. It was just revive.
That's
awful.
I'm good on all that.
But Infinite broke the cycle, and when it did that, it made us think that it was going to be awesome, absolutely insane, and it wasn't. And because of that, it's by this point, even though Steve Downs is probably getting close to retirement age, it would be kind of nice to just go and get something new. Like let's tell another side story because
I'm all for that. Yeah,
Halo needs something different.
Something like Reach, or ODST.
I've been saying for a while though. Yeah, exactly. Like like Call of Duty has like a new game every year, for better or for worse. But that's because they have like a dozen studios working on this. Yeah, but like Microsoft, they just bought like 100 studios recently, and they really should like put more studios on like dedicated to Halo.
They need to. That's what needs to be done. That's
absolutely
what needs
put
to be
out
done.
more Halo games like yearly. Well, maybe not yearly, but that'd be fine. Like a spin-off every year, and then like a main Halo game from 343 every few years, however long it takes them.
There's actually a theory right now that the reason why the entirety of 343's campaign team, because the most unfortunate news we've had recently is that the entirety of the campaign team got fired. But the reason why so many of these employees got cut from 343, like 127, I think was the last number that I saw. And there's still more being canned right now. Like one of them I saw on Twitter, another one who had been on Halo since Reach. He just quit. But with them losing all of that, the theory right now, and it's definitely one of, gosh, I hope this is real, is currently that Microsoft is putting together a second studio focused strictly on making campaign titles, while 343 focuses on multiplayer, since they seem to care about that more.
I would be down. I'd be down with that, but that also stresses me out to an extent I can't even describe.
I'd be okay with it mostly because someone made this point that was actually really interesting. I don't remember who it was that said it, but there was a YouTube video that I had seen that basically gave their proposal for what if, following the trend of how live service multiplayer is working to this day, what if there was a Halo game that had the multiplayer and it was just multiplayer, and you would be able to get updates regularly, you would be able to get events that happen that change the game retroactively and for the future and all that. And then you have a second team that's making campaigns. So the campaigns and the multiplayer get separated entirely. If you want to play multiplayer, you go to the multiplayer. If you want to play the campaigns, go buy the latest Halo. It sounds like a really interesting way to modernize the idea because, the argument is getting harder and harder to figure out what's the best Halo multiplayer because we have all these different versions of it now. But at the same time, I don't want it to hit the same level that like Destiny's multiplayer or Rainbow Six Siege's multiplayer hit, where it goes through all these different spirals. But
yeah, that's the issue I have with that idea is I appreciate originality and the original intent of different things, and that applies to games as well. So you have a lot of these games, a lot of these live service games that they'll see like, oh, this was popular, let's do that. Instead of coming up with their own formula and sticking with that. So each Halo has its own flavor. Each Halo has its own feel. And so that's why you have some people that like prefer Halo 3 over Halo Reach or whatever. Like it's the abilities, it's the movement, it's the gunplay, it's all of that. So if you had one Halo multiplayer that was just constantly changing, I think that would make it fall into the thing that you're talking about. That would I don't see that going very well for longtime fans.
Yeah,
for anyone that
looks at it can't get much worse than what we're already at.
Well, it most certainly can, my friend. Don't say that out loud.
I mean, it can, but God, we would have to royally screw up. We might need to continue this on the after show, though.
The first thing,
check the
mind. I'm watching the clock.
Okay,
I'm watching the clock.
Okay.
That's the thing, though, is like I think the worst thing they could ever do, and this is just like this is bottom line. This is the worst thing they could ever do, is stop supporting mods.
Ooh.
the moment that they do that. I'd see he's recoiling. He cringed.
No, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll go full blown Activision on us.
Oh, he went there.
I sure did go there.
It's more like
I sure did.
Nintendo, really, with that.
Are you this is getting a little off topic here, but do you like know what's going on with like Activision and Call of Duty and all that?
Yeah. Didn't they like recently like copy strike a lot of like mod projects?
A lot of the mods that are like keeping
Hardcore.
the old titles
Yeah.
alive, and it's a lot of fans are pissed off. The best person I've seen go on a tangent about it is probably FaZe Jeff. Like, I don't know if that's like your thing, but he basically knocked it out of the park about how all Call of Duty fans feel. I mean, I grew up playing Call of Duty, and I still do to this day, casually and competitively, and it's just like it just sucks to like watch it go down that road, like where the fans are enjoying something. Like, oh no, you can't have that because we're insecure about our current title. I don't want to see Halo go down that route. I really do not.
I mean, historically, Microsoft has always been more friendly towards modding and
Right.
stuff like that.
Thankfully.
So,
Yeah. That's like why I was like, that's worst case. Like that is everything has gone
No, that's
downhill.
bad.
Everything
That'd
is wrong.
be very, very bad. Like no Steam Workshop, nothing like that.
Well, I'm going to save the question that I had for the after show because we have unfortunately run out of time for this episode. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see what's going to happen over on that after show, you can head over to patreon.com/JumperScape. There are currently still slots open for the early bird special if you want to hop over to the show and grab yourself a nice little deal that's available for you. If you want to just hang out with the community though and see what we're up to and talk to us personally, you can feel free to head over to discord.gg/JumperScape, where you will find all sorts of people there, including the guest today. Whether he'll reply to you, I don't know, but he's there. But all sorts of community is being built up as we speak in the Discord, and we're trying to get it to be a better hub than the Halo channel. That's what I'm really going for, because Halo Discord is an interesting place to be. So if you want to help us out there, you can feel free to hop over there. For now, though, we're going to be heading to our after show. Next week, we're going to be talking about Halo Legends, expanding on how good those freaking short films were because they were fantastic. And we will see you then. Thank you for listening.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.